What is up, you guys? It's your boy El Camo again, yeah, man. Back at it with another video. You alright now? We kicking it, keep it on the roll, ball motherfucking. You going keep it to the wall, however you want to say, man. Today, reenacting. Oh my god, reacting to the world's strongest nutcracker, apparently made by this guy right here. So let's get into it. Let's see what this man, I think he called him Jaws, can do exactly.
Jaws. Jaws.
Let's start it from the beginning.
This is Jaws. This is
I'm sorry.
Jaws. Jaws is not a nutcracker. He's
Oh
a nut
man.
obliterator. He's 15,000 times more powerful than a normal nutcracker. So load up and strap on your body armor, because with Jaws, you just might need it.
Sound like this thing gonna shoot you, dang. Darn head get ready to pop off. Darn
Jaws
boy.
was made because I thought it would be really funny to crack this kind of nut. So we'll be testing that, and of course sticking everything else we can think of in there.
If you're wondering
Why?
why something like this should exist, I mean, come on.
It's gonna be awesome. 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
This all started when
Wow.
I made an explosive powered bat, which as best I can tell broke the MLB home run distance record. Ever since, I've been wanting to make a nutcracker using this
Damn,
technology.
what the
and
fuck?
'tis the season. The bat was powered by these little explosive blanks, which are used to drive nails directly into concrete. They should be really good at driving nutcracker jaws into everything.
The red tip on these blanks means that they're maximum power, which is really cool. But do you know what's even cooler? 4 blanks at the same time. Getting this thing working was pretty hard. It really wants to just violently tear itself apart. That reminds me, I need to tell you, do not try this at home. If you don't know exactly what you're doing, this is incredibly dangerous and even deadly. There's a lot of engineering, testing, and precautions that I'm not even showing in the video that I'm doing to make this safe. So live vicariously through me, and if the friend asks you if you want to make something powder actuated, just say no.
All right, let's go back to the beginning.
I'm like stuck.
Traditional
What the
nutcracker
hell?
works by amplifying the force from your hand with a lever to squeeze a nut really hard and crack it. With powder actuation, I should be able to make a nutcracker that generates up to 80,000 pounds of force. That's like 15,000 times stronger than this nutcracker.
And that's all thanks to these wonderful little blanks. You're supposed to put them in a special tool, which tickles them in just the right way. They shoot out super high pressure gas, which drives a nail into concrete. My goal is to somehow use this expanding gas to actuate the nutcracker. Although I'm not going to use a lever because they really like to snap. And besides, this is so powerful, I don't need no stinking lever. If I put a piston over these blanks, the expanding gas will shoot it up and crush these nuts.
This is similar to how my bat worked, but there's a big difference. This is the pushy bit from the bat that launches the ball. It's 50 cal because the pistons are 1/2 of an inch diameter. And this is what I'm going to be making the piston for the nutcracker out of, 200 cal, 2 inches. This is going to make the nutcracker generate about 10 times the force of the bat.
To understand why, we have to talk about pressure. Pressurized gas is basically gas that wants to take up a lot
Why,
of space,
though?
smushed down into a tiny little space. And like a compressed spring, it wants to expand. Except the gas wants to expand in.
Not like you just see something so incredible or amazing or just so indescribable that you just sit there and just be drooled, not drooling, but like, ah, wow, oh my gosh.
every direction at the same time. Pressure is measuring how hard the gas is pushing on a given area. If I have a bigger area, it will push harder.
The problem is that when you start
R.I.P.
making the piston really
R.I.P.
big, it really wants to tear itself apart.
And that's because the
R.I.P.
stress in the cylinder grows like this as you make the piston bigger.
So to try to make it strong enough, I could just make everything thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
I don't want the ads.
When simple, one of the best esports pros in the world gets his own champion in Raid, you know you have to have him on your side. All you got.
Very good strategy. For one, I could be wrong and it could explode in my face. But also, metal
Well,
is really
hopefully
expensive.
it
And if
won't.
I make it thicker than it needs to be, I'm wasting material, which is a tragedy. This is why engineering is a thing. If I can calculate how strong the nutcracker needs to be and how strong a given design is, I can design it to be just strong enough. And it's just like they say, any old schmuck can build a bridge, but only an engineer can make a bridge
What
that
the
barely
hell?
stands.
I'm planning to bolt together a stack of thick steel plates to make the piston. When the pressure is pushing the piston up, it's also pushing downward. The opposing forces will try to rip the nutcracker in half, and the bolts are the only thing keeping it together. So it's critical that the bolts are strong enough. So let's
Oh,
talk
damn.
about steel. If I tighten the nut on this big bolt, it's hard to see, but the bolt is getting longer. And if I loosen the nut, it springs back to its original length.
Usually, at least. If you're anything like me, you've cranked the nut to the point where it suddenly gets easy to turn, and what's happening is that the bolt stretches so much and it starts to permanently deform. We need to use bolts that are strong enough, but the question is, what size?
Different size bolts take different amounts of force to stretch. But if I take the force it took to stretch any given bolt and divide it by the bolt's cross-sectional area, I always get the same number.
Which is interesting.
Ah,
and this number is
science.
actually a really important property of metals. It's called yield strength.
It's telling me how many pounds per square inch of cross-section steel can take before it stretches.
I can use this to directly calculate what size bolt I need, and this is one of the ways that engineers predict how something's going to behave rather than having to physically test it.
So at this point, we have a piston that we're going to shoot upwards, utilizing the farts of these shells. The plan is for the piston to be the nutcracker's torso, so we're going to move the shells over to the nutcracker's back, where there's also room for the firing pins and a hammer and all that stuff. When it goes bang, all the gas shoots down the tube and launches the piston upwards. But once it's done, I need to let the gas out. I could have a little hole that opens up like this and lets the gas out, but this is going to be incredibly loud. And nutcrackers are supposed to be used in the family room with everyone gathered around them.
Loud explosions would totally spoil the mood. And besides,
Oh, got the
everyone
safety
knows
hats
that the
on,
only loud
really hard
explosions
hats
allowed
on
in
this shit, what the
situations
hell?
is vicious political debate.
So I'm going to add a tube to the piston that gets pulled up as the nutcracker fires. When the jaw reaches the closed position, it'll open up a little hole that lets the gas shoot down the tube, which will have a muffler on the end of it, which will make it quiet.
This tube lets me solve another big problem, which
Okay.
is stopping the piston.
Okay,
Remember, it's
science.
going to be a chunk of 2-inch steel, and if I fire the nutcracker with nothing in it, it's going to be going up to 200 miles per hour. If it slams
So
into a solid steel
freaking-
wall at that speed, it will destroy everything. So I'm going to put a
And
spring right
basically-
here, which has to be compressed before the piston hits the wall. This will bring
Yeah.
it to a gentle stop.
So
And by gentle,
basically,
I
it
mean
would
18
shoot up through the
passenger
top
Gs
and just
would-
shoot to
would
the
liquefy
ceiling.
your brain, but it's much better than hitting the wall. This is the spring we're going to be using. The technical spec for this is Beef Supreme.
Remember that gas that tried to rip our bolts in half? Well, it also pushes out sideways, which is a big problem. We need to
Yeah.
make the nutcracker thick enough so that this doesn't happen. But how thick is thick enough?
Oh,
Just like
damn.
the bolts, our goal is to make sure that this tube never stretches to the point that it permanently deforms. But figuring this
Okay.
one out is tricky. If I pressurize the pipe and look at how much it's stretching, it varies in a complicated way across the pipe. This problem is a lot easier to think about if we zoom way in on the pipe and look at a little tiny piece that's so small the variation across it is negligible. We can imagine what happens to this little piece. The pressure in the tube is pushing it outwards, but this piece has little pieces next to it that pull on it to keep it from moving away. It also has a piece
Okay,
behind
so
it
right.
that's going to keep it from moving, which is also held in place by pieces next to it, and so on.
Everything
Okay.
is pushing and pulling and squeezing on everything.
Yeah.
If this seems like a huge, complicated mess, you're right.
I'll spare you the specific details, but math makes it possible to precisely specify all these
Say,
different
man, this
things
is
that
why
add
you
to a
gotta be
little
smart
piece,
to do
which
stuff
you
like
need to
this,
figure out
'cause
the stress
jeez,
or the
bruh.
stress for any part in the tube. Then all we have to do is run the numbers until we find a tube that's thick enough so that it doesn't explode.
If you've ever wondered why anyone cares about calculus or differential equations,
Mhm.
this is
This
why.
is why.
They're incredibly powerful tools
heck?
for a huge number of problems.
My
I
guy.
just ran the numbers and they're kind of crazy. To keep the nutcracker from exploding, the walls have to be an inch thick, which is really thick. Hopefully this reinforces why you don't want to mess with these things. I would have
That's about
never
what he
thought that
watching in
walls
the
would be that
background.
thick.
All
Parkour
we gotta do
fails.
now is design it.
I've been working on this for a couple days now,
Dang.
and this is what
You
I've
in the
come up
raid
with.
for?
Basically a giant block of steel, which is what it takes to hold this thing together. Steel is pretty slow to machine, so this is going to take a while.
If you've ever wondered what it's like to make something like this, look no further.
5:30. damn.
Man, that took forever.
Yeah, it seemed like it took probably
Assembly
about a
is usually
week or
lot
two.
easier than fabrication. This is the triggering mechanism. These are the pins that ignite the shells. All of these big steel parts are the piston. I tried to reduce the number of seals, but there's still a lot of seals. All the non-strength critical parts are 3D printed on the Fuse 1. This is starting to look like a nutcracker. I think he's ready to make his big debut.
No, I'm not getting hit with copyright.
Avant-garde flair. He has a face that says, "Kiss me and see what happens."
Will the influencers of the world adopt his style? I think that would be great, but only time will tell.
Damn, my man talking about making a darn
Alright, let's be honest,
a
this is
gunshot
amazing. So
nutcracker.
cool. And it's huge. There's a normal nutcracker. I love this. This is
It's
so
like
good.
5
This little
times the
backpack
size
that
of
he's
it.
wearing is what holds the shells and does the firing. And just like a real nutcracker, you push this lever down to fire it. To load it, you open the breech and put the shells in here. Then when you're done, you close the breech and then cock it, and it's armed. My goal was to make it impossible to set this
It's
thing
deadly
off.
now.
I don't intend to.
Extremely
And there's a
deadly.
series of safeties to ensure this. The first thing we have is the safety stick. This physically prevents the nutcracker lever from being depressed. It also goes inside of the nutcracker and physically blocks the hammer from reaching the shells. So even if you somehow release the hammer, it just can't go off. If the slide isn't fully shut, it blocks the hammer as well. And the slide can't be fully shut unless the breech is fully locked. This prevents it from being triggered with the breech partially locked or open, which could be really dangerous. And then if we decapitate him, these bolts that hold the body together are designed to fail before the body itself. This means that if somehow something went pop, it's gonna shoot this plate straight up rather than
Yeah,
pieces
wouldn't
of the
that be
body.
exploding out? But is that the wisest thing? I mean, like, if that shit goes off at like 200 miles per hour, that
Which
thing
is
would,
much more dangerous.
you know what I'm
That's
saying,
a
it
lot
would
of
hit the
engineering
ceiling and
precautions,
come
but I still
down
don't trust my
crazy.
engineering that much. So we've got body armor, hard hat, eye protection. I'm cowering behind a barricade. And it has
Ah.
remote start, so I don't have to be anywhere near it. A while back, I had to fast for a couple of
Safety at
days,
its finest.
and this is a reenactment of what it looked like when I finally got some food. 3, 2, 1.
Why the
This isn't nearly as powderized as I would have expected.
Why the
Let's do something
cereal?
a little more quantitative.
Metal nut versus 2 shells. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, it's not showing enough for that.
What?
But it was.
Some
I'm
really
I'm
precise measurements.
surprised.
I think I can barely detect some squish, but I shouldn't need calipers to see this. It should be smushed a lot more.
I spent a lot of time wandering in the wilderness, and we're just gonna skip over that part.
This has just been driving me crazy. I've been messing with this for multiple days now. I've fired it a million times, and it kind of works, but the power just is not matching what it should be. I thought there was a bunch of different problems. I
Is it
remade the
the-
chamber that holds the shells 3 times, and I'm pretty sure I figured out the actual problem. The gas from the shells comes out of this hole and goes into this hole to drive the piston. And it
So it's
would
not
really
big
hurt
enough?
the performance of the Nutcracker if these holes didn't line up. No one could have guessed that, right? I mean, come on. It only took 3 tries to figure it out.
There is at least a quick hack to fix this.
3, 2, 1.
Okay.
It's better,
Oh,
but it still isn't
damn.
as powerful as I calculated. The nut with 3 shells should be flat.
I'm just gonna go for 4. I want to know if it can survive it. I want to know if I'm gonna have to remake a bunch of parts. 3, 2, 1. That was
Really?
so loud, even with the hearing protection. I felt that in my soul. It didn't even do anything to the nut. It's worse than 3 shells. Like, what? It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. What is wrong with you?
Oh, I see.
It looks like the
What
pressure
happened?
is so high that it blew the tops of the shells off and squeezed them out into this little tiny gap in the breech, which is surprising because the fit is really good on this. It's built like a Swiss
My
watch.
bad. Like, I'm
Maybe
over
a
here
Swiss watch
like
made in
stuck.
Japan.
This
pretty good.
is
Unfortunately,
crazy.
what
Like,
happened
what
here
the
is pretty
hell?
fundamental to the design of these parts. I don't see any way to modify these to make it work. I guess I'm gonna go redesign and remake all these parts. Great.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that bad.
I just remade these parts and you're not gonna believe it.
The firing pins don't line up with the shells.
So I get to remake them again.
Yeah.
Alright, it is that bad.
This one doesn't fit. This one should fit.
Finally, the new design bolts everything together so there's no gap to squeeze the shells into.
I just realized a big problem. When this thing fires, all that gas goes down through the muffler into the legs, which are totally sealed. It has nowhere to go. I gotta find a way
Oh.
to get the hot gas out before I break something.
You
know,
say them
this is the
gonna
best
blow their
spot.
damn legs open.
Alright, I think he's finally ready for prime time.
Okay.
And in this corner,
ready
we have
for this thing.
Jaws. Weighing in at 25 pounds, he is a chonker. And in the other corner is Lil Joe, weighing less than 2 mice. I have to say, is this fair?
It's not even a nutcracker, is it?
Wait, he's already devoured him? Is that even
Damn.
legal?
Alright, I think it's
Yeah,
working.
that man
We get to
got
see the fun part now. We get
destroyed.
to see what this little man is made of. I've brought the wife in so she can render her opinions. What do you think of Jaws?
Manicured
He's
mustache
terrifying.
and eyebrows. Clearly had some dental work done.
They're awesome.
He's got a grill, and I really like his hair.
We're going to start with what this
He's
thing
got a
is designed
girl.
for. This is a rock hard macadamia nut. What do you think is going to happen to this nut?
The
It's gonna
thing
explode,
is
and then
gonna
the
be
nut is
powder.
gonna be smushed. You heard it
Okay.
here first.
3, 2, 1.
Wow.
Yeah, that
This thing's been
thing
ejected. All of
got
the
turned into mush.
Nut dust. Called it.
Nice.
All right, what do we got here? Some silly putty. Any predictions?
Satisfying smoosh.
Smoosh.
It's not nearly as exciting.
It seems like it would be really fun.
Boring.
Snore,
I got jawbreakers, but they're too big. Red hot jawbreakers.
shatter.
Red hot jawbreakers?
That's pretty much what I was expecting, I think.
What about
Ew.
5 jawbreakers?
Same thing.
Oh damn.
I ate too many jawbreakers. Oh, I think I'm gonna be sick. Oh, disgusting.
It's just all stuck to the roof of his mouth. Like
Mush.
peanut butter. A glass marble. This doesn't sound dangerous.
I just feel like everything's gonna shatter.
Yeah.
Come on, give him something hard.
A hardened steel ball bearing. This is the hardest jawbreaker.
Like
Oh,
split in
damn.
half or something. I don't know.
These bearings are really hard, so we're going with 4 shells.
I'm a little concerned about 4. If it does crack, it could
well,
really come flying out fast. So we're gonna evacuate the
yeah.
wife.
Let's hear and say, I don't
Going
think
for it.
that's safe,
Doing it
miss.
live. 3, 2, 1.
Damn. This shit got
Wow.
It just
flattened.
pressed the ball bearing into
Oh,
the jaws.
Yeah, oh.
Bottom.
Oh
The bearing
damn.
is so hard, it's forming the steel jaws around it.
A literal jawbreaker.
It should be able to shatter this. I think I just need harder jaws. We'll save that one for later, because right now we're going to do what we've all been waiting for. Metal nut versus 4 shells.
I think that's gonna get smooshed.
You think it's gonna smush this?
I thought it was gonna shoot the
3,
piston out.
2, 1.
Alright, so you finally smushed it. It done broke it in half.
All right, this looks great.
Gunshots.
Looks like that cool S.
SU John Middle School.
Anyone who's cool in any grade.
It was one piece, but with a little touch, it snapped. I
Yeah,
can't
of
believe it
course.
actually cracked the nut.
Success. My life's work.
Crack. Can I fire it?
Yeah. What do you want to smash?
How about a battery?
I thought the same thing, but that's a really bad idea.
Yeah. Gonna freaking explode on y'all. Y'all crazy? All that acid.
Lego men?
I mean, I ain't no expert on nothing, but damn.
That I have. I forgot that I had festivities. Very festive.
Okay, now we can Lego Man.
This little man went through Santa's court of law and has been deemed naughty. Oh yeah, he goes into the Nutcracker, who is Santa's enforcement.
Who is currently loaded with 4 shells.
2, 1.
Damn, that broke his arms?
Wow, Santa doesn't mess around. Don't get on the naughty list, kids.
Absolute carnage.
Wow. Oh my gosh, his poor head. It's like it's split open in the back.
I think he's dead.
Crazy.
The big question
I already married you.
is do you think that this is an important invention?
It's dangerous.
Well, I can't say no with him looking right at me.
All right, he's not looking.
No. I mean, what's it gonna change?
The world.
I'd like to see it try.
See what she says behind his back? It's ridiculous.
I think he's very fun.
Two-faced.
And very festive. And very handsome.
Do you like it?
Yes.
You gotta ask the right questions.
See?
This is my favorite kind of project. It's awesome, arguably useless, and definitely commercially not viable. And that means that after all the engineering,
$4,000.
there isn't really anything for me to sell, which makes projects like this really dependent on your support. So I'm not trying to make you feel guilty. If you enjoyed the video, I'm happy. But if
I
you
get
want to
it.
help support projects like this, there are a couple things that you can do. So you might have noticed this awesome shirt that I'm wearing. This is a blueprint of my unpickable lock. And if you like it, you can get one at stuffmadehere.shop. Another thing you can do is support these projects directly on Patreon. And the last thing you can do is take a minute to check out this video sponsor, KiwiCo. What KiwiCo does is every month they send you a crate that has everything that you need to do some kind of project. And this one is an automaton. It simulates Santa coming to deliver all of your presents. The reason I love these crates so much is they go beyond the project to teach you general concepts. And in the case of this project, Santa is driven by a set of differently timed cams. My unpickable lock actually had a bunch of cams. People who see my projects like the unpickable lock ask me, where did I learn to design stuff like that? And it all started with a steady diet of kits and projects just like these. They're just a great investment in a kid's future. At this point, pretty much all the kids in my extended family are getting KiwiCo crates. If you're thinking about useful gifts that you could give a loved one, you should check out KiwiCo. And if you go to kiwico.com/stuffmadehere, they'll give you 50% off your first month, and they have a ton of different crates for different age groups and interests. And that's it. Thank you, KiwiCo, for sponsoring this video, and thank you for taking the time to listen.
Okay, I definitely will be checking them out, bro. For sure. Oh, you guys. That was that was a journey of intelligence and quick thinking and smart ideas and somewhat useless projects, but at the end of the day, it was pretty interesting, man. And I couldn't say it better. I couldn't say that I could do better myself. But, you know, y'all like this video, man? Why not go show some love to my guy? Give me a second, sorry. Stuff Made Here for the strongest nutcracker. And, you know, it's your boy, it's your boy El Cabo, man. And y'all like this video, drop a like, subscribe, you know, tell me what y'all think about it. Even drop a comment, man. It just goes a long way, you know. I try to do what I can, and I don't know, I feel like it got me emotional and stuff like that. I hope y'all enjoy y'all holidays, everything else, even belated holidays, because y'all probably won't watch this till after, I don't know. I love y'all, man. It's your boy again. Salutes again, you feel me? Signing out again, and then throw up them deuces, you feel me? Deuces, bruh. Y'all take it easy. I hit the wrong fucking button. I'm still hitting the wrong button.